Is a Bitcoin ETF the final piece of the puzzle that will allow Bitcoin to reach a price of $100,000 and beyond? In this video, we'll explore why Bitcoin ETFs are such a big deal and why the crypto community is constantly talking about them. A Bitcoin ETF, or exchange-traded fund, is an investment vehicle that tracks the performance of Bitcoin. Instead of buying Bitcoin on a cryptocurrency exchange and having to worry about storing it safely, investors can simply purchase shares in a Bitcoin ETF through their stockbroker and let the ETF's manager do all the difficult work. It's important to point out the fact that Bitcoin ETFs, or investment products that are extremely similar to a Bitcoin ETF, are already available in certain markets, for example in several European countries. However, the world's most lucrative market, the United States, still hasn't approved a spot Bitcoin ETF to start trading. In terms of Bitcoin investment vehicles, a spot Bitcoin ETF in the United States would potentially open up the door for a huge amount of capital to flow into Bitcoin. Exchange-traded funds are an extremely popular type of investment vehicle. In the United States alone, ETFs held a combined $6.4 trillion worth of assets as of 2022. For context, that's about 11 times more than the entire market cap of Bitcoin. Still, the United States securities regulator SEC has not been willing to approve any spot Bitcoin ETF application so far, despite countless attempts from asset management firms over the years. The most notable investment industry players that are currently pursuing a Bitcoin ETF are Fidelity Investments and BlackRock, which is the world's largest asset manager with more than $8 trillion in assets under management. In other words, the very biggest companies in the investment industry are now looking to launch their own spot Bitcoin ETFs, which perhaps improves the chances that the SEC will finally approve such an investment vehicle. When talking about Bitcoin ETFs in the United States, we must keep in mind that several Bitcoin ETFs are already available on the market, with the first one being approved in October 2021. However, all of these ETFs track the Bitcoin futures market, and not the Bitcoin spot market. Bitcoin ETFs based on futures have several downsides. There is additional price volatility risk and inefficiencies resulting from the difference between the spot Bitcoin price and the price of Bitcoin futures. Funds that manage futures-based Bitcoin ETFs also incur costs when rolling over the Bitcoin futures contracts they hold, which ultimately results in a worse deal for investors. The Bitcoin ETF applications that are currently in review are pursuing a spot Bitcoin ETF, which would be based on the performance of Bitcoin on the spot markets, and not the performance of Bitcoin futures. The SEC's reasoning for declining all the spot Bitcoin ETF applications so far mostly revolves around market manipulation and investor protection concerns. Essentially, the SEC is saying that platforms that offer spot Bitcoin trading aren't sufficiently regulated to ensure that fraud and market manipulation isn't happening. Under the leadership of the current commissioner Gary Gensler, the SEC has been aggressively pursuing cryptocurrency industry players for alleged violations of securities laws. The SEC has even taken on the two biggest cryptocurrency exchanges, Binance and Coinbase, accusing them of operating as unregistered securities exchanges. Despite the SEC's relatively hostile approach towards the crypto industry, the latest batch of Bitcoin ETF applications is trying to address the regulator's concerns about market manipulation by including surveillance sharing agreements. For example, BlackRock aims to employ the services of Nasdaq, which would monitor activity on a spot trading platform for Bitcoin to spot any potential market manipulation. So, will the SEC finally approve the first spot Bitcoin ETFs to enter the US market? Opinions in the industry are mixed. Mike Novogratz, the CEO of Galaxy Investment Partners, has said that according to his sources, we could see a spot Bitcoin ETF be approved by the SEC in the next 4 to 6 months. Novogratz cites sources from asset managers Invesco and BlackRock. Of course, we have to keep in mind that it's natural that Novogratz is optimistic, since his company Galaxy is applying for a Bitcoin ETF in partnership with Invesco. Meanwhile, ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood has said that if the SEC does decide to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF, it will likely approve multiple applications simultaneously, instead of giving one particular application a head start. Do you think that we will see a Bitcoin ETF make its way to the United States market in 2023, or will the SEC continue to reject all applications? Make sure to let us know in the comments below. Best of luck in your crypto journey.